Welcome back everyone, Ronan here. Today I'm bringing you a class guide into XCOM Chimera Squad. On your first playthrough it may be hard to pick a class to play with. It's mainly because they're all different. Every character is individual in their own rights. If you're doing a tutorial though, you're going to be starting with Godmother, Terminal, Cherub, which I'll probably refer to as Chubby in this for some reason, and Verge. Not all classes are created equal, and depending on how you build them, may change your playstyle and how they interact with one another. Alright, we have Torque. Torque I really liked on my first playthrough. I played on Expert my first time around, and she was really good. I kind of had an affinity with her to bring her into Impossible. Then I noticed that she scales off near the end. Doesn't mean she's not good, it's just that her damage doesn't really scale. The nice thing with her is she rarely misses. The only thing is her tongue attack is a bit on the low aim side sometimes. But for me, I found that it was still hitting pretty good, even at 70% chance to hit. And the nice thing about her is she basically removes one enemy from the fight. The only thing with that is you can't really do much with her once you've pulled that enemy. I'll be showing you some combat tips with her as well to help you increase your damage and hopefully bring up your enjoyment when you do use her on a higher difficulty. Your first thing you're going to get on most characters is your breaching ability. Toxic Greeting. Basically, he shoots poison at someone, a poison ball that does 3 damage and then 2 damage of poison on their first turn. What's nice about this is it's a guaranteed hit, so if an enemy has 5 HP, you essentially kill them on the breach. Or if you know someone else that can do a low amount of damage, or you can link this. Sometimes I've merged this with another character like Verge's Levitate. That way that when the slam happened, I knew damage-wise the enemy would die. Second choice here for me, at first I went with Tight Squeeze on my first playthrough. On this one, I chose Hard Target. I like the extra mobility on her because often enough on some missions, some of your characters may be slow, and if you pair her with Claymore, really slow, she could pull him along so he doesn't have to move as much and keep throwing his grenades. Or you could move further for an escort mission. There's a lot of different options you have here, so you have to keep your mind open in XCOM Chimera Squad. There's a ton of different ways you can play the game, which is what makes this a bit more beautiful than some other tactical RPGs, because you can have a bit of freedom with your playstyle, even on impossible difficulty. Poison Spit. This is really nice. It does not end your turn. Same with the Tongue Lash. You can use the Tongue Lash on your second action. It won't end your turn, and if you were successful and the enemy is right next to you, you'll still be able to bind them. Poison Spit. It shoots basically a grenade of poison out of her mouth. And usually, it's weird because sometimes it doesn't work, but it should do 2 to 3 damage to the target, and then the poison will do another 2 per turn. So again, if they have less than 5 HP, you can essentially kill multiple units that are grouped up together using that method. Another thing that can work as well is shoot the poison at your feet. You've selected the Synthetic Venom, because she will heal while she sits in it, and you can just keep dragging enemies to you and poison them that way. Another good usage of Poison Spit is if you know there's an enemy reinforcements coming up, you could preset the poison. Just spew her poison on the ground where they're about to come. They'll get poisoned on the way in. This way it also allows you to use Overwatch on that turn and potentially overthrow their reinforcements and just kill them outright with a few Overwatches. Now I picked Reinforced Scales instead of Synthetic Venom on this one. I tried both. I think I like Reinforced Scales better because what I've noticed, once you bind an enemy, and if they manage to get a turn, you didn't kill them in time, or you didn't CC them, it's crowd control by the way, I'll say CC a lot, then the enemy is likely to hit Torque. She'll automatically let go of the bind if you don't have this. I didn't pick this for the armor. The reason I picked this was really to hold that bind even though she gets attacked. And this makes her a really good target for other skills like Cherub or even Terminal, so she either doesn't get hit as much or doesn't take as much damage. The likelihood, if you grab one of their strong enemies, then they're likely to hit her to try to free them. But with this, they won't be able to free them, and it's on you when you want to release or kill that target. The last one I don't like. This is probably why I don't pick Torque. It's not really the other mechanics, it's this here. I don't know, there's something about this that I don't really like because it ends your turn. You You can't use it like you do with subdue. You can't run to a target and use it. You actually have to use only 1 AP to move to the target, then use it, or use your tongue to bring him to you. But if you use this, you can't bind the target after, and the chance to hit was fairly low, so I would miss. But it does 5 damage, not guaranteed, you still have to hit them. Then they're poisoned. So technically it could do up to 7 damage. But I just find that it's just doesn't scale well towards the end of the game. This is what made me pass on her, really. The other skills are really good. She's great in a breach or the poison, if you can factor in the damage you're gonna do. The other nice thing about poison, since she deals a lot of poison damage, is that it also reduces the enemy's hit chance by about 15% on you. So it'll make you get hit less. It's almost like a flashbang. It just also does that damage at every turn. Now, some of the skills that she gets when she levels, she also has a really high dodge chance. Right now, she has 70 dodge chance. And that's not even with a mock weave equipped. This is just her upgraded dodge chance. It's huge. Most times you'll just graze your hits on them. Remember in XCOM 2, if you've played it, and you'd always graze your hits on the Vipers? This is why. Her dodge chance is ridiculous. She also has a pretty high aim, which gives her a great hit rate. I find myself not really using her rifle, so you won't have to worry about ammo or too many mods. But if you give her an epic rifle, probably something with banish, that one time that you might actually use her rifle, it could go pretty well for you. She is poison immune. You do not need to give her a med kit to make her poison immune, but I would recommend if you use Torque a lot, give med kits to the rest of your group, because then they will be poison immune and you don't have to worry about shooting poison at them or pulling them into poison if that's part of your strategy where you put the poison on the floor. Adaptable, every unit in the game has a skill that you can use with an item. So instead, this you would need, I forget the name of the item right now, but there's a mesh that, I think it's infiltrator mesh. When you enter the breach, she can go into vents that would allow you to go into areas that other heroes can't go unless you have a specific item equipped on them. And as her last skill, Tag Team, when you use Tongue Pull on an ally, they get an action immediately. This is really nice because if you're on other missions where you need to move faster or you just need to kill something next to you, this is really good. One character that I can see this really good with is Zephyr. Then she'll get another attack, which means she can move and attack. This would also be really good with Patchwork. This is a good skill to add to other allies that are either slow or can deal a lot of damage if she's already ahead. Because you can use your tongue skill as a second action. You're already on the point where you can evac and bring somebody else with you, then you leave. This is Torque in a nutshell. Also, as a side note, Torque uses a submachine gun. You cannot replace that for an assault rifle or shotgun. You're stuck with the weapon the characters come with.